Hey guys, hi, hello, hello. Do you like how I give you like massive doses of videos and then I'm just like, bye bitches. First things first, we have a new family member. Look at her, look. I got this for Ava. She's not really happy right now. Anyway, so her name is Dugma, which basically means button in Iraqi. But yeah, that's it, that's about it. What else on the agenda? Every like couple of months I need to reorganize my entire life. I need to fix my life, I need to everything, and I need to go out and buy a new brand new fresh diary and like a new pen as well, just to give myself that false pretense that I'm actually fixing my life when I'm clearly not. No, I'm joking, but yeah, so I did that the other day. There we go. I did that the other day and haven't looked back since. I'm joking, I put like one entry in. I need to put in a couple of other things actually. I've got an appointment tomorrow. So that's that. What else? So basically I basically asked for video ideas. And the majority of the video ideas were relationship advice. Albeit I did ask what kind of relationship advice videos do you want? Or any video, I did say, but a lot of them were just literally relationship advice. Okay, so I've decided I'm going to go through all of them. I had like literally a good 80 unique suggestions. So I don't have any problems filming like vlogs like this, where I just talk at you, rather than like I'm trying to like vlog parts of my day, because I don't. Some days I'm literally just home the whole day, so I'm just like, there's nothing to vlog. Literally, it's just me with my like unshowered body sitting working, and it's like I just don't know what part of that to actually vlog or whatever. So it's a bit kind of more time consuming to do, you know, my kind of weekly vlogs. I'll still do them obviously. These kind of vlogs I could do so easily. I could do one a day, like happily, of these, because it's just me talking, you know, whatever. Obviously with the exception, maybe 5 a week or something. I can film 5 a week. Obviously with the editing there's another story. But it's the basic point of the story is, without waffling on as I have, I could do these a lot more, these videos. Second point of the story is, oh my god, like if another person says to me, oh my god, all you care about is boys and you're teaching girls how to hoe and you're like, if I didn't get so many requests, like that shit would actually get to me, but it doesn't, because I know there's a need for it, so that's not going to affect me at all. So there's just no point in commenting your irrelevant opinion. Like, just because you don't suffer from it, or just because you're not going through something, doesn't mean like a lot of people aren't. A lot of the stuff I talk about from my experiences, a lot of the stuff I talk about from people's experiences around me, like I feel like I've got a lot of wisdom to shed. And you know, just the other day actually, I was at my local shisha spot and this girl came up to me. She goes, I come here because of you and blah blah blah. She goes, I watch all your videos, I've been watching them, I've been like following you for ages. She's like, it stopped me making so many mistakes. She goes, I genuinely was in such a situation that I would put your, like while I'm doing dishes, I'd put your vlog in on repeat so that it would set in, just so, like, I was like, whoa. I was like, wow, like that is crazy. To think like I'd have that much of an impact on like some person's life, like that's just mad. It's mental. So that was a nice picking up that I got that day. That was like a couple of days ago, actually Sunday. Today is Wednesday, by the way. So yeah. So I know there's a need for it. Like I'm not making it for the people that don't go out and have boyfriends, by the way, so don't need to tell me it's haram. We don't. Okay, I'm just doing it because I know there's a niche for it, because girls, whether you like it or not, they date guys. Even though they say they're not dating, they're probably dating. Or they're talking to a guy. And even talking to a guy, the lines are blurred. And so when you're talking to a guy and when you're in a relationship, as I know, let me tell you. So I'm just here to shed some light, to make sure girls don't make mistakes that will put them in even more haram than they normally would. And maybe even give a bit of advice like I've had, as I like to boast, 2 marriages under my belt, and which I believe were, one of which at least was very, very successful. And The other one, obviously, I learnt a lot from that, from my mistakes in that first marriage. So I can still shed some advice, you know, based on my experiences. Yeah, and I guess it's just nice to have that kind of non-filtered, that's what I get from a lot of people tell me, it's nice to have that non-filtered approach. Like, you're actually just generally sat talking to your friend, like, I'm not going to filter anything, like, genuinely don't care what anyone thinks of me. Genuinely. Really. Anyway, let's get on with it. I've been literally talking shit for 7 minutes now. My makeup isn't like made for this video. I was literally out and I came home and this is what, I went to A&E as well. Story for another day. But I'm okay, it's nothing to do with me. And yeah, I had to literally fight myself to come and film this video right now. It's 3:57 AM. So I fought myself to film the video, to film you guys to start, because I said I was going to start on Sunday and we're Wednesday right now and I still haven't started. So that's what this is. That's what this face is. And finally, the topic that I'm about to talk about today, I've chosen two video topics that were suggested. The first of which is what, bitch? Number one was tips on keeping a good marriage, and number two was what to expect on the wedding night, tips for girls losing their virginity. So the thing with this is they both got a lot of votes in the general vote. Against each other, the virginity and wedding night sex one won, basically. And what I thought about is, technically they're kind of interrelated anyway, so I thought, let me speak about both of them, because you kind of can't have one without the other. Yeah, one's focusing on the beginning and the early stages, but tips on keeping a good marriage are kind of also, like, to some degree sex related anyway. So I thought, let me just talk about this here. This is not a video intended for people that are going to find it offensive. Like, this is genuinely intended, you know, it's my 2 cents on both topics, and you know, it's going to be explicit to some degree. And obviously if you're younger, if you're not in that kind of point in your life where you are about to, you know, have your wedding night, or you are in a marriage, then I wouldn't recommend you watch this at all. And of course, if you're male, I would 100% recommend you not watch this. I know I'm going to get some nasty ass comments. I know it, because I'm just going to be sexual, like, basically it's going to be sexually explicit content to some degree. I'm going to try and, like, censor it as much as possible, but I'm going to also try and be as open with you guys as possible. This video is going to be so controversial. A lot of people are going to have a negative thing to say, because let's face it, hijabi Muslim woman talking about sex, technically, how is that going to go down? Shit. We know you've had sex, you don't have to advertise it to the world, but look, you know, I think we should stop looking at sex like it's this haram thing, because, by the way, we only have it halal, so, like, relax in it, like, enjoy it for what it is, see it for what it is. It's such a beautiful thing. It makes life through the power of God. That is the process to procreate your child. From two, do you even understand how beautiful that is? Like, that is just so friggin' beautiful. So why are we tabooing it, and why are we putting a stigma on it? I don't understand. Like, everyone, clearly, every single hijabi married with a child has had sex. So why are we acting like it? Like, oh my god, how could she speak of this? Like, relax in it. Just be open-minded when you watch this video. Like, honestly, if it doesn't help you, just move along. So just move along. If you're able to pick up a couple of things, and it is very sporadic, because there's times like I'm talking, get carried away with myself, I'm like, no, I can't freaking talk about that, and I have to move on to something else. I've tried to fit in as much as possible, but there are probably things that I'm going to have forgotten. You know, probably a massive thing that I've probably forgotten, but at the end of the day, I did the best with what I've got. It's 5 AM now. Like, this video isn't, I'm telling you from now, this video is not made for males. If you're a male, move along, move it along, but we can't force you, obviously. So there's going to be one dickhead that's going to be here who's still watching. There you are. You're not leaving, are you? No pressing the X there. No, just carry on. Just keep watching this video that you're not supposed to be watching. You know, I can't control people, but, you know, if you're that person, if you're a male, you're thinking this is haram what I'm doing, then you shouldn't be watching, because you're getting haram yourself by watching. Because I'm telling you, you should not be watching, and it's going to be haram for you to watch. I'm telling you that. But I got myself snacks. I'm talking about sex. And this is what I got for myself to keep me like awake, basically. Which makes sense because to me food is food is sex. Off to try. You guys need to try these if you haven't already. Plantain chips. They're so good. I'm gonna open these. Good here. Like, that's what it looks like. They're so good. Okay. Now, I think what would be kind of what would make more sense is to start off with what would make more sense is to start off like chronologically. So first night, obviously that's before you want to think about tips for the good marriage. Wedding night is what gets you into a marriage. So, or the wedding or whatever. Let me read the question again. 1 second. Uno momento. I don't get this IGTV thing, I still don't get it. Okay. What to expect on the wedding night? Tips for girls losing their virginity. And just so you know, this was probably the highest voted question. When I put all the questions against each other, this was the one that received the most votes. Actual physical people voting. I think it was almost 2,000 votes it received on that one. On its own. But yeah, what to expect on the wedding night and tips for girls losing their virginity. Okay, so I'm going to take you back. The problem with us, like as a community, as a culture, is we find it very, very difficult to, in a way, we kind of like, we isolate sex as this unspoken of thing, and what happens is it becomes such a taboo to the point that it almost doesn't become, like it doesn't become, that's the wrong thing to say, it reaches this point where there's a big chance it doesn't become this thing that it's supposed to be, like within two people who love each other. Like, it's a beautiful thing. So the problem here is because it's like our whole life is no, like, and you know, virginity is so important, and don't you dare have sex, like sex is the evil, like growing up, you know, don't ride that horse because you'll break your virginity. And you're like, I'll be honest with you, like my biggest fear before I met my first husband, because obviously I had a relationship with my first husband prior to us getting married, like it was years, but before getting married, like before even finding anyone, like around 14, 15, like my biggest fear genuinely was, what if, and this was a fear embedded into me through like my family and stuff. Like, obviously I don't blame them, because they're just trying to say, like, bitch, do not lose your virginity before you get married. Like, they're trying to scare me into that shit. So I literally had this notion that all girls bleed on the first night. All girls bleed when they first have intercourse, and if you don't bleed, like, your husband go and divorce you basically the next day, if even that. He might do the same day. Like that was such a big kind of worry of mine. Like, I would literally, like, I don't know, like I'd go on a horse in like a farm or whatever it is, or like a horse ride, and mom was like to me, like, be careful, like you can lose your virginity horse riding. Like, so my whole life, like, I was just kind of like not knowing what to expect for sex. And obviously we have sex education, but again, it doesn't really explain to you like the meaning of sex within a relationship, within a marriage, more importantly. And unfortunately, I went into like my wedding night thinking, oh, it's just this thing I have to do and just like move on after it. Like, that's not the be all or end all of the relationship. That's not what's going to make it survive. And unfortunately, when you do that, you don't put that much importance in it. You don't put any much effort into it. And I think the key thing to making a marriage work is having that effort, that combined effort. And forget combined, because we all know that men are like children. It's that effort from the woman to please her man, and like to basically do what it needs to do to keep him there. And I feel like more and more now, like, and I could say this because I've been approached by so many married men, it's disgusting. It's actually disgusting. People that are like high up in the community, like, when I say high up, they actually, they don't mean shit. They're literally fucking like whatever rats. But when I say high up, I mean like very, very, very well known in the community. Like, you'd think, why are you even taking this chance? Like, I could literally just put your shit on blast, show everyone this message that you sent me. you know, proposing like that we get to know each other and whatever, and I could literally just ruin your marriage. Like, why would you not, like, they're that secure in themselves, like, they know, and I'm presuming they're that secure because they know it works and they've tried it before. So the fact that I get that, like, it's just sad to see more and more married men like going out elsewhere and kind of like trying to like get attention from other girls and trying to give attention that they should be giving to their wives to other girls. And I feel like that's a huge part to play of, I feel, I genuinely, you might not agree, but this is how I feel just seeing marriages in front of me, you know, within our culture. I genuinely feel like not enough importance is put on sex within a marriage because of the stigma that we have of it growing up. Like, it isn't this desirable thing to us, which is great. It shouldn't be, because you don't want to have sex before marriage, but there needs to be a balance. Like, that is pretty much key. It's a bit of glue, if you like. Like, you might have a proper turbulent relationship, but the sex might be good, so, you know, you want to stay with that man. No, I'm joking. But yeah, just talking shit now. This is going to be the most difficult video. Like, I'm literally going to like trip up on the shit that I say, literally, from how much waffling I'm gonna do, because it's just an awkward thing. Like, I don't want to say too much and I don't want to say too little at the same time. I'm just kind of stuck right now. But anyway, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna do my best to try and make it informative, if even that. Anyway, so first wedding night. For your first night, when you're about to lose your virginity, I think the key, which is what I did, thankfully, I didn't look like, look, it's more than you bleeding the first, like, it's more than that. If you found yourself a partner who you are so in sync with and you're so incompatible with, you know, this kind of like, oh, you know, we got married tonight so we have to have sex tonight, like, that goes out of the window. It's just genuinely when you're ready, like, the guy of your dreams is going to be that person that's going to be understanding to that. Okay, so example is, I'm not saying, oh, so awkward. I'm not saying that I did or didn't on the first night, but, and obviously, but I'm not saying I did or didn't, like, take that out of my mind. We're not talking about me specifically, but I remember on my wedding, during my wedding, where we had like the best wedding, everyone like in our culture books a hotel after, before you go on your honeymoon. So we get the, so after you finish your wedding party, you go to the hotel room with your husband. I know why, because no one's houses are good enough, but, but I guess it's nice. So we went to the hotel, and I remember getting to the hotel room, like still excited, like by the way, just FYI, like in my wedding, on my first wedding, I literally, even on my second wedding, I was that bride that was like wearing the, I was a size 8 then. I literally almost got sewn into my dress because it was a small size 8 and I was just about a size 8, 10. So it wouldn't fully zip, so I got sewn into my dress by my aunt, I remember. So it was already a peak situation, but that didn't stop me from dancing. Like, I don't know what, like literally going down to the floor. If anyone's seen Iraqi dancing, when they just go down, they start bouncing on the floor. I doesn't even sound that good. Probably Iraqi dancing. Just YouTube Iraqi dancing and you'll know what I'm talking about. So anyway, I was literally going all out, you know, the Iraqi music, the Arabic music, the English, I did not care. And I remember at one point while I was dancing, again, not a good look. It's not a sexual bounce, by the way, it's just like it's like an Iraqi bounce, like you just, but I was down to the floor kind of thing. And at one point, one of these bounces, my dress just basically opened. Did I care? No. Carry on dancing. But anyway, off topic. I remember I was so like happy, like I was marrying my best friend at the end of the day. I wasn't marrying a guy like that had been brought to me and I was still kind of getting to know him and it was still awkward and I'm like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? I knew whatever we wanted to go down on that wedding night was gonna go down because I was marrying my best friend. So I remember walking in and my biggest thing, obviously, as you guys know, is food. Obviously, as you guys know, is food. So I remember my husband surprised me. I opened up, we got to the hotel room, I opened the door, and all you see is a table full of all my favourite foods. So I used to love these buns from Beard Papa and they were all the way off the circuit. He got those. I used to love sushi, back then it was new. sushi from Wasabi, because the wasabi was new back then. He got me a massive tray of that sushi. Like, he got me Krispy Kremes, he got me a Frappuccino. He managed to get his friend to go get me like, it was everything that I that's literally, in fact, you know what, only I could have a wedding night like that full of food. It was just like, the romance of it was just so epic that I was just like there was no pressure. And I think that's such an important thing, that you're on the same wavelength as the person you're marrying, that there's no pressure. Because look, it's not going to be a fun experience if there's pressure. You both don't know. Probably the guy does know what he's doing, but because you're a good girl, you're the virgin, you probably don't know what you're doing. And that pressure, that it's already a difficult thing, kind of like, it's your first time's always going to be, in fact your first, second and probably third time's going to be a difficult thing. So adding that pressure of shit, I've never done it before, and technically all eyes are on you on that night, because everyone in their mind knows that you're about to have sex tonight, because you've never had sex before. And obviously my man isn't going to wait or whatever it is, but I guess that's the difference between marrying someone that you're not really like that compatible with and marrying someone you are, and like you're on the same wavelength. Like, there's not going to be that pressure. Like, if you don't feel like you want to chill, like after that wedding, like, it's just tiring anyway. You might, you know, go to bed and like have jokes and whatever, and watch like Netflix in your hotel room, and you know, maybe wake up in the morning and do it. Like, you have to let it go with the flow. And that's like probably my biggest advice, is let it flow. Let it go with the flow. Like, don't let him come in expecting at literally the wedding ends at 12 and 12:05 he's about to get it. It's not about that. That's not what's like, sex is such a like beautiful thing within a marriage. Like, you shouldn't objectify it and make it a thing. Like, it's a chore. It's not a chore. It's a thing that you both are gonna want to do, and you have to let it get to that. And I guess that kind of comes in with foreplay elements and things like that. But when I say foreplay, I mean just not actual like proper like freaky shit. I'm just talking about foreplay of loving one another and like hugging one another, and the points that you would have to stop before marriage, now you don't have to stop. That's basically it. That is what you want to get to when doing it for the first time. It's like when you get carried away and you're like kissing each other and whatever and hugging each other, and you know the point where if you weren't Islamically married you'd have to stop. After marriage you don't have to stop. Carry on, my sister. Just carry on. You ain't gonna be a hoe anymore. No, I'm joking. So that's what technically, like, that is probably the best example that I could give you of a successful wedding, right? Is just let it flow, enjoy yourself. Like, don't tell yourself I have to have sex right now. No, just, I don't know, just like chill, like flirt, do what you would normally do, like with your man. If that's your man, like do it, like flirt a bit, like whatever, and let it just kind of snowball into the big, the deed. The deed. And also the deed. Like, how could I'm telling you, this is the most awkward video ever. The one thing I didn't talk about was the physical aspects. Obviously everyone hears that you're so painful the first time, etc. And the truth is, yeah, there is some pain associated with that. However, if you do, as I said before, if you let it lead there naturally and you want it, without trying to be too kind of graphic, the more you want it, the less it's likely to hurt. Because, you know, the way that God's made our body, don't want to say subhanallah, like I know someone's going to cry about me putting the word subhanallah with sex. Everyone's like, she's going to have friggin', literally, it's going to be a shit show. Although that we are all bodies, and like bodies made by God, and all our processes and anything that we do, like that is procreation technically. We're creating babies. That is also made by God. So why, I don't know why it wouldn't be subhanallah. It is subhanallah, I don't really care. It's subhanallah. Subhanallah, the way that our body works is, if you really want it, your body will react in a way to make that transition. Hearing myself talk about this in like the most PGest possible way that I can is literally actually hilarious. But anyway, you know, your body changes and it kind of adapts to what's about to happen, and in that it stop using hands, man. In that, what it does is it makes the thing less painful. When I say thing, I mean the act less painful. So that is literally key to it. Do it when you get to that point that you want it. And the only way you can do that obviously is with an understanding partner. If you're not with an understanding partner who's expecting sex and he wants sex and he's going to get sex, then good luck. Good luck to you. And if you're not married already, do not marry that person. Like, actually, seriously, don't. Yeah. So, what else? Yeah, anyway, sex is a beautiful thing. Like, honestly, within marriages, Islamically, it's such a nice thing. And we need to be able to, like you just have it and enjoy it and like experiment with it and just find a way. And this, now we're moving on technically to tips of a good marriage. And I believe, like I obviously told you guys already, I don't believe I was a perfect wife, and in fact I was a shitty wife in my first marriage, like really shitty. I believe I was an exemplary wife in my second marriage, like actually exemplary. So I'm gonna give you like a little rundown of my day. When I quit my job for like 2-3 months, I was literally just a wife. So when I say just a wife, honestly, for me, that time was the best time. It was the best job ever I've ever had. I was like, literally, it was heaven. I was enjoying everything that I did, and I'm about to tell you what I used to do. So literally, like, he'd wake up, he was working, so he'd wake up, sometimes he'd have random shifts, like really, really early, because he was bus driving as well. So sometimes he'd have, like, say, a shift starting at 5 AM, so he'd be awake by like 4 AM. So when he woke up, I would automatically wake up, just seeing him wake up. I'd go downstairs. Like, this is me, and I love my sleep, and if you guys know me and you watch me, I like, I love my sleep. Sometimes I wake up at like 4 PM happily. I was waking up at 4 AM. Running downstairs, not running like some sort of like psycho Stepford housewife, but like running down and like enjoying like the process. I can't wait to make this for him. Like, it's 4 AM, Bob. Like, he probably didn't even want to eat. Like, sat there, pulling out the bagels, pulling out the big salami, the halal one, pulling out the egg, pulling out, like, you know, the cheese, and just making him like this breakfast bun, and squeezing freshly squeezed orange juice for him while he was showering. I was enjoying that. And that, to me, by the way, that is now, whenever I kind of talk to anyone, whenever I feel like I'm capable of that with them, that's when I know that my feelings have like kind of substance with this person. Like, they have a bit of like weight, they carry weight. No, it's not like, oh my god, I'm so obsessed with this guy, but actually I'm not really. Oh my god, this guy's so nice. Oh, he did, like, it's not like that. Like, when I know that I have that feeling towards someone, like, literally anything you say to me, and I think I'm a smart, so I think not a lot of people can tell me what to do. And when there comes a guy that might not be smarter than you, or smarter than me rather, but when he tells me something, like, he has so much authority towards me, and like, and with me, that I'm just like, what daddy? No, I'm joking. I'm just like, what? Okay. Alright. Whatever you say. That, literally, that was the kind of relationship that I kind of craved and what I enjoyed a lot. And I had that with my second husband, alhamdulillah. And I found myself enjoying just like looking after him. I enjoyed, like, that what made my day. So I'd make his breakfast, then he'd go to work, then I'd go back to sleep, obviously. Then I'd wake up, and also not just his breakfast, I would make him pack lunch. So I'd buy him like cooked salmon, I'd make him salad, literally. And he's Iranian, so he used to like the not like the easy salad where you just get a bag of lettuce and you throw it and you cut the cucumber in quarters and you're done, and the tomato in halves, there's cherry tomatoes. No, he was Iranian, and he loved Shirazi salad, whatever it's called, Shiraz salad, Shirazi, whatever, which is a finely cut salad with finely cut onions, like finely cut cucumber, finely cut tomato, pomegranate, molasses, and like what so have you, and everything. And I'd make that for him as well, like ready for him to take. This was all at 4 AM, bro. Like, chill the fuck out. It depends on his shift started. If it was 4 AM, if he was starting at 5, it was 4 AM. If he was starting at 9, 8 AM, etc. But point is, I would wake up, and I'm not an early waker at all. And he'd go to work, and in that time, I'd literally spend the day cleaning the house, because I wanted him to come home and see the. And by the way, this example is a bit different. This is basically your example in the first year maybe of marriage. This is kind of the first year of marriage, because obviously once kids hit the mix, love, You're lucky if you get a glass of water in the morning. I'm joking. It's not that deep. But anyway, so I'd literally be cleaning the house, like, while he was at work. Like, what do you feel like today? Like, what do you feel like today? He, mashallah, he was not, like, literally would not, like, hold back. He'd give me, like, the most difficult Iranian dishes. Like, bro, I don't even cook. Like, relax in it. So, like, once he'd be like to me, I want arma sabzi. I'm like, so there's Behesh, like, this is a Iranian restaurant, like, in Harrow that we can go to. Like, yeah, it's not gonna happen. But no, I would literally get on the phone to my mom, get on the internet, find the recipe, do what I gotta do, go buy the ingredients and cook that for him by the time he came home, just to surprise him, because I wanted to do that for him. Like, it was such, like, an invigorating, I can't explain it. I was so happy to do it. I was so happy to see his reaction. Make his food for him. When he was on his way home, and I always knew when he was on his way home, so then I'd go make sure the house was, like, spotless. I would dress up for him, probably dress down, wear less clothes, but I would literally, like, I wanted to be his dream, like, woman, so I would do whatever it takes, and it wasn't just, like, me serving to him or whatever. It was just, like, it was mutual, because I did that because of how he made me feel. Like, he literally, he made me feel amazing, and I guess that's the way that I repaid it back to him. Not because it was a tit for tat, it was genuinely, that's how he made me feel, that I wanted to look after him, genuinely. It was not a chore, it wasn't work to me, that was not work. I literally left work to do that for like 2-3 months, because, like, that was work, this was not, this was, like, fun. And sorry, and then in the evenings, after, you know, we'd have our lunch and I'd make him dinner. Honestly, they're the best times of my life. We'd literally get ready together, sometimes do our tea, and then both jump into the shower together. I had actually quite a disgusting relationship with my husband, and a lot of people are going to find this disgusting. I used to literally sit on his lap while he was in the toilet. We used to talk about random shit, or I'd be in the shower, he'd be in the toilet, or vice versa. I would never, I think what's important with being married is not to let go of your femininity. Do not think it's cool, and a lot of people are going to disagree with this, because I'm like, no, it's fine, I burp and fart in front of my husband, it's all good. I'm like, but I guess that's just preference. I'm just not someone who'd even want to burp in front of my friends, so why would I do it for my husband? Like, I'm not someone who'd want my husband at my birth face front watching that child come out of my vagina. Like, that's not what I want. Like, I want to have some sexiness between us afterwards. I don't want you to look at me and look, all you can see is, like, blood, and that hole, like, literally gets the size of, like, of Jupiter, and, like, it's not about that life. Like, that's not what I want. I want to kind of keep the sanctity of this whole sexiness, like, because we were still a young couple. If you're literally just got married or whatever it is, or you've been married, you're still a young couple. You're still, like, young and, like, fun. You can still have that. What else was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. I think things changed for me. I really began to enjoy the whole, the whole sexual kind of aspect of my marriage. It's when I was with someone who really honestly made me feel good about my body. No matter how much I hated it, he literally, the way he made me feel is that he couldn't find fault in it. I think once you find someone like that, that's when you lose your inhibitions. And when you lose your inhibitions, your sexiness takes over. Because guys want a girl that has no inhibitions when it comes to like that. They want a girl that's willing to do anything within reason. That isn't haram, obviously. Or makruh. I don't think anything haram is there. I think it's makruh. Or is it haram? It should be haram. That thing that you guys probably know. The only thing that's really notably, and everyone knows, that's not, you shouldn't do it. Like, I've spoken now about the physical, kind of like the work aspects of it. The actual physical aspects of it. In terms of, like, you know, looking after your man, in terms of sex and stuff. But tips to keeping a healthy marriage and a successful marriage: 100% being able to voice your opinions and communicate. There are two kinds of people in the world. There are people who, you know, they have a disagreement with the other person and they need to, like, literally switch there and then. They need to literally lay it all out there and then. And when there are other people who hold things in, they sit on them. And obviously it builds up and up and up, and eventually they'll explode over maybe the stupidest thing. I'm the former. I think it's not that these two people can't be together, because, you know, they can. But it's a case of communicating, like understanding which person you are and which person the other person is, and have them understand which is which. They can understand, because someone who's quiet and more reserved in their kind of like dealing with like confrontation, and they want to do it at a late stage, or they just hold things in, they wouldn't automatically be able to say, you know what, she's flipping out, because that's just the way that she does things. She just flips up, she says whatever she wants to say, and then she kind of comes back around. Like me, I'll say whatever the hell I want to say. I will say words that will literally equate to poison. But once I have my moment, I will be fine. And I will be even like apologetic if need be, like if I was wrong. But you need to kind of know which kind of person you are. If you're the same person, obviously it's going to be a bit more... You can make it work whether you're the same person or whether you're the alternate person. But it's the key important thing is to know who you are and know who your partner is. And adjust, you know, adequately, or deal with that, you know, accordingly. Know who you're battling in your arguments. Know them. One of the other things that's so ridiculously unimportant, it's like so important, but so like it's one of those things that you just kind of, it's understated, like people don't really pay it much attention, but it's the most important, I think. Or that and compromise, which we'll get into in a second. Respect. Having respect. I previously told, like, a lot of times I was, you know, speaking to people, I think the biggest problem in it not working was the fact that there was no respect. And I told you guys my first marriage, it didn't really work out, and it was a lot to do with my fault, and it was my fault in that I had built such a friendship with my partner at the time, that my husband at the time, that when it came to kind of having that respect of man and wife and husband and wife, it was very difficult for me to adapt, and, you know, difficult to the point that I didn't adapt. And that's what kind of, I believe genuinely, that's what kind of like, obviously it wasn't the only reason, but that's kind of what led the way to the downfall of that marriage, because I didn't have that respect that this person's my husband, you know, like whatever. Remember, that's what I was telling you, that I know now someone is right for me or compatible with me is when I know that I would listen to them. Like, it doesn't matter, like you could literally have an argument, you know, I want A, you want B, and I think A is right and you think B is right. At the end of that argument, if both of you will never agree with each other, whose word's going to kind of go over the other person's? That's the question that I ask myself. I don't ask it, it just automatically goes through my head. And when I find someone who I'm like, end answer will be him, that's when I know that I've got that respect for that person. That's when I know that that's someone that I could definitely see myself with. Someone who could look after me, someone who could protect me, because even I'm automatically respecting him. Like, you need respect for a marriage. You need respect, because that stops you. Respect technically stops you from, you know, disrespecting someone. It breeds anger within the other person, and it kind of breaks that marriage. Eventually, it'll plant that seed of like resentment when you disrespect your partner. Like it's gonna, even if he doesn't react to it properly, or it's gonna breed some sort of like resentment towards you, and that resentment will equate to the breakdown eventually of that marriage. So that's why respect is important. It's not just important just face value. It's actually important for a bigger reason. Yeah. Next thing is compromise. Compromise is key. You need to pick and choose your battles. If you want something and your husband doesn't, you need to think to yourself, is this really important to me? Because if this is, and I fight it to the end, A, he might accept it, but it's going to be like he's going to count it like he's taking one for the team. So next time I'm not going to be able to push the next thing through that might be more important to me. Or B, it might literally result in bickering, the start of bickering that could eventually also lead to the end of the marriage. You need to pick and choose your battles. And the ideal situation is that you don't end up marrying someone who you're not really in sync with, and someone who isn't really on the same vibe as you, because the compromises are going to be that much more difficult, because you're literally trying to, like, it's literally chalk and cheese. It's not going to gel. It's not going to mesh. You're not going to find a middle ground with someone who's completely not on your wavelength, which is why it's important, obviously, to pick the right partner, or just stay single, like I am. Food is bae. That's compromise. Another thing I would say is don't. I think it's quite important is don't tell your shit to friends and family. Like, don't. When you fight, and if you know this person for you, I'm not talking about if you're planning to divorce this guy in like the next couple of months, or you're about to literally just run the shit down to the ground. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying if you actually really care for this guy, do not tell your problems to your friends, and do not tell your problems to your mom or your dad. Or, you know, any family member really. Look, what I'm trying to say to you is your problems, that you have love for this person. So your problems, they're temporary, generally. So when something happens between you and you go to your friend and you're like, oh my god, he did this. This is generally with relationships as well. Oh my god, he did this and this and this. In your moment of anger, in your moment of hurt. When you're over it, and when he does something to make it up for it, or, you know, he makes you feel good about yourself, you're going to be fully over it. You're probably not going to remember that thing that happened. Your friend isn't, or your mum isn't, and it's going to cause animosity. It's going to cause problems. And look, no matter, you should always treat your marriage as your immediate family. Like, that is you. That is your family. Of course, your parents are your family. Of course, your brothers and sisters are your family. But your immediate family, that's the one that you're making. Like, you're literally all inside of each other. Your baby was inside of you. Your husband, everything is inside of you. Like, technically, oh my god, that's so explicit. I'm sorry, guys. You guys are so close to each other, and that's the way that you should see that marriage. Like, you guys are one. All of you. You, your husband, your children, you're one. That's a unit. Do not break that unit. Do not show people there are cracks in that unit until it obviously gets to the point that you do not want this anymore. But chances are, when you're telling your friends that something happened, when you tell your mum that something happened, or his mum did this, when you're doing that, like, technically you're kind of showing his flaws even more to your mum, and it look, I just don't feel like I'm explaining myself very well here, but my point is outside influence can destroy marriages, even if it wasn't planning to be destroyed. It can lead to destruction, because, like, you can't help giving advice to your friend, telling her, babes, you know, he doesn't love you, or babes, 100% he's cheating, or you can't help but listen to that, even if it's not true, even if it's not correct. That seed, once it's planted in your head, it's gonna grow. It's only gonna grow, and anything he does, anything he acts, you know, after that, you're gonna somehow link it to that seed, and that seed's just gonna get a bit bigger, until it destroys the marriage. So I would heavily avoid discussing your marital problems with people outside that marriage. The only person you should discuss it with is your husband. And if it's not working out, if you cannot, literally, if you keep butting heads and you cannot communicate, go to a marriage counsellor. Seriously, do not go to your friends and your family. You cannot go to biased people, because they're not going to do the best for your marriage. They're going to do the best for you. And the best for you in that second might not be the best for your marriage and your family. And you, technically, in the long run. So yeah, do not share marital secrets out. What else? Something that's important, don't use children to fix marriage. Like, if you don't try and get pregnant if you're having problems. Like, just don't. I don't know, really. I feel like I've discussed everything that I've had in my perfect marriage. I don't know what else. I don't know, watch me forget, like, the biggest thing ever. And someone's going to mess up, oh my god, you didn't like this, you didn't even say this. Like, that's, like, what is a marriage without that? But if it's a big thing, just know that I forgot it. Not that it wasn't important to remember anything, I just forgot it because it's 5 AM now. What time is it? 4:41. Just let me be, man. Okay. One last thing that I would say is, as a woman, don't let yourself go. As the marriage goes on, do not let yourself go. Like, I picture myself, if I was married, I would literally, like, make sure I'm always looking to the nines, like that, like just how I'm dressing now single. I would want to dress like that and better married, because I would never ever want, of course if you have a decent guy, if your guy is not decent, he's going to look elsewhere regardless, so you're just doomed from now, like just give up. But I'm saying if you have a good decent guy in your hands, like you don't want to, I'm not saying it's going to be your fault if he looks away or if he looks elsewhere, I'm not saying it's your fault at all. Like, guys can be dicks, and don't, and even if even sometimes even the loyal ones, they're looking at like they're with you and they won't cheat on you, but they're in their mind is a different story. Like they wish they could get out and they could go out and like do their thing and come home and it not affect their family. Like, you know, I would never want to be with a husband like that. I would never want to be with like a man like that. Like, you're not forced to stay here. You're not. Like a lot of men, like I feel like when I see a lot of men and I hear about like stories, like it's almost as though they're just there because they have to, because of the kids and because of the family and because of like the, I don't know, the common wife law. They don't want to divorce their wife and have her like cause shit. You deserve a guy that wants to be there and he's like excited to be there. Of course, you know, marriage is like, as you grow older, you know, things change, but they doesn't mean they have to change for the worse. They can, your love will grow so strong that, you know, you don't need to put in that effort anymore, but it's just there. You guys can hear each other without even talking. Like, you want to get to that point, and to get to that point you need to have good foundations, and I think what I've described would provide for good foundations. We've seen those old people where like, it's like he's literally 90 years old and he's pinching his wife's butt. Like, that is what we should aspire to have. Like, she just still keeps him on his toe at 90. I don't know how, but I'm gonna find out. If I get married, let me tell you. That's what you want. One last thing on like tips for keeping a good marriage in terms of the physical nature. I would say, like, educate yourself a bit about like the things that we were never allowed to look at, never allowed to read up on, i.e. sex. Educate yourself a bit. I'm not saying go out and watch porn. Don't do that. Don't. Like, to this day I would never be able to watch porn. I can't do it. Married or not married, I couldn't do it. Like, I just couldn't. I physically couldn't. I don't know how people do it, but I could not personally do it. It's not something that ever, like, has ever enticed me to, like, to that, like, never. I can't. I mean, the only porn I do watch is Power. Bro, that is porn. I don't care what anyone says, that's porn. But anyway. How did they even, like, okay those scenes to be online? I remember watching that first episode and I was like, Lord have mercy. Do you know, like, you don't normally, like, up in our culture, we're just taught, obviously, to turn away on these scenes, and my whole life I've turned away. Even now, I'm freaking 31, I've had sex, like, it's not a big deal anymore. I'm like, I'm still like that. It's crazy. Or I'll forward it, but obviously not too fast, I'm gonna miss it, but forward it enough to, like, not watch it but watch it. Let me tell you, I've never watched really sex scenes in all my life. Like, I've not been interested, but that was a sex scene I was interested in. I was trying to get tips. I was like, yo, let me learn that. No, I'm joking. That's an interesting show, let me tell you. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, educate yourself. Like, see what you like. Find out what your man wants and try your best to do it. I mean, there are people with like not so crazy fantasies that you could technically live out together. Be his fantasy. As his wife, be his fantasy. Don't be this prude, kind of like frigid person. Like, you could be that with the world, but with your husband you need to be like, technically you need to be like, I swear, I know it's so cliche to say this, but technically that is what it is. What is what it is. A lady in the streets, a hoe in the sheets. It's not even a hoe, I'm just trying to make it better. But yeah, you get the drift. For your husband, I mean, that is literally your mindset when it comes to your husband. That's what you should do. Lose your inhibitions. You know, like, just, you know, own your body. The more confident I was in everything I was doing. I wasn't even confident. I was like throwing confidence shit. Like, I was actually walking around naked and I'm like, bitch, you should not even be walking around naked in the dark, let alone with the light switched on. Like, what are you doing? You're so fat. Like, relax. But I didn't care because of how I made me feel. And because of how I made me feel, I was comfortable to do that. When I was comfortable to do that, I was just like strutting my stuff and like walking around that room like I owned the place. When I did that, he found it sexy. Like, he, like, do you understand? Like, it's like Honestly, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. And you need to get that vibe down, seriously. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I don't even know if it makes sense. But look, anyone that tells you sex isn't important in your marriage and paying attention to sex isn't important in your marriage, they're wrong and they're chatting shit in your ear. And they're probably just frigid. And their man is looking elsewhere, probably. I'm not saying it to be a bitch. I'm just telling you the reality of it. Because let me tell you, in the last 3 years, I've lost count of the number of married guys that have come approach me. Of course, the ones that I knew were married, I would not give them time of day. But the ones that didn't say, and they always, a lot of them don't say at the start. They like get the hook on, and then they drop that there's something. But again, they might not tell you exactly what it is. But they all come to like divorce you because they assume this girl's lost her virginity. It's not going to be difficult for her to have sex again out of marriage or in a secret marriage or whatever it may be. And obviously if that is not difficult for her, like once she's tasted it, she can't stop. Like literally they think once you have sex, it's like once you pop you can't stop. It's not like that. Like women are more emotional when it comes to sex. Like you want to do it with people that you have feelings for, and if you don't have feelings for someone, it's not like genuinely. I during my marriage fully enjoyed sex. Fully enjoyed it, like really a lot. And even if I could say that, can I say that here? Honestly, I don't care. I told you guys it's going to be unfiltered to some degree, and this is unfiltered. But when you, what was I saying? I enjoy that. When I'm not in a marriage or not in a relationship, that thought is like, honest to God, thank God, actually thank God, because I would actually not just look like a hoe, I would be a hoe. It completely exits my system. Like there's no thought in it. It's not like, oh, I missed it. Like I've had girls say, oh, I miss it. Don't miss it at all. Like when it's not in my mind, when there's no man in my life, when there's no husband in my life, when there's no, serious person in my life, it's just not there for me. Like believe me, I could go, realistically speaking, just the kind of person I could go for sex without sex for the rest of my life now. Even though I've had it before, even though I enjoyed it before, I can still go without sex for the rest of my life. Very easily, not difficult. It's not the most important thing in the world, but at the same time when it's there, it's important. You need to pay attention to it. Just be that girl that you would, like, your husband might be looking at, like, what, why do, like, a lot of people will tell you who's gonna chat shit to me in the comments box. Probably girls that aren't really happy in their relationship, and their man is probably looking elsewhere, if I'm going to be honest. They're the only people that are going to have problems with what I'm saying right now, or at this point. But I just think it's sad, so many married men looking elsewhere, and like I watch and I look at like their wives, because they're people that like I know. I look at their wives and they're like ignorance is bliss. Like they think that in this happy marriage, posting pictures of their family, and I feel so bad. Like you would not believe. Would never ever break down a marriage like that, because the other day the person hasn't done anything because I've not even given him a face to do anything with, and I hope to God that he wouldn't do it with anyone else, but he doesn't end up having the chance to do it. But it's just sad because I would hate to be in a relationship like that. I'd hate to be in a relationship with a husband who wanted other women, like he craved other women and he wanted to pursue other women, and not like behind his wife's back, like not even like I want to end this marriage and I want to pursue. No, like literally have her on the side, dumb as shit, and he sat there like literally playing with his tail. Like it's just I think I'd rather be divorced 10 times than have that feeling, to be honest with you. Anyway, I think I've spoken too much and I've over talked, and God knows how I'm going to edit this shit, but look, this is always going to be a controversial topic, and I don't even feel like I've actually fully spoken about it properly. Like I've got so much more explicit shit to say, but I just don't think this is the platform. Maybe I'm going to make like classes. Like, yo, hold your thing and like we're going to do demonstrate. No, I'm joking. Can you imagine? Hijabi guide to sex. Why am I talking like I know everything? I don't. But I think why I feel I can speak on it is when you get to experience the epitome of a soulmate love and the epitome of soulmate sex. When you get that feeling, you know that's the toppest feeling. Like literally that carries the most happiness, that carries the most fun. When you're able to experience that, you know what to expect and what to want to expect and how to get that. And I guess I'm speaking from that kind of notion. But yeah, I think I've overspoken. And yeah, I've got about like another 60-70 other topics to do, which I'm going to do daily now. So once I upload this, hopefully within the next 24 hours, another one's going to upload as well. Please forgive me if this doesn't make sense, because I genuinely, like, honestly, like, I was very kind of like reluctant to do this video to start off with anyways, and I was like, you know what, let me just try to do it. And when I tried to do it, it's like I was jumping a bit, like, because I'm like, do I want to, like, there's so much shit around this topic, and I guess most people would prefer not to be spoken about. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this, and yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Feel free to put suggestions in the comments box, but I do have a lot to work from anyway, so it's fine. Unless it's something that you really want. But anyway, thank you for watching, guys. Bye.